Hey ladies and gents, it's Izduiz here with a figure so big, so epic, that I figured the only appropriate way to have it right into this review is on the back of a Brontosaurus. That is Bolthor the Tower. And it's my latest Mythic Legions review. Let me get him down so you guys can get a closer look at him. Here he is. Just gave him a nice warm bath to loosen up his joints. And they feel great. They're nice and tight, but they're also as mobile as I want them to be. So let me stand him up here on his rocker ankles. Most of the time with smaller figures, I wouldn't stand them on this AstroTurf type surface because it's hard for them to stand, but he's so big, he's got big feet, he should be able to stand just fine. I'm going to try to get some of these other big massive figures in here so you can take a look at them. I wanted to get a size comparison for you. First off, let me dispense with the official particulars. This comes with a disclaimer that says joints on Mythic Legions figures can become tight after production. When posing Mythic Legions figures for the first time, especially during cold weather, it's recommended that heat in the form of warm air from a hairdryer or warm water be used on tight joints in order to loosen the joints slightly before posing. Gently rock the joints forwards and backwards or clockwise, counterclockwise, based on type of joint, until the joint moves freely. Failure to do so could result in irreparable joint breakage. And that is why, if you take a look at his soft goods, they're still wet because I gave him that warm bath. And I think the warm bath works really well with these guys. And you can also hit them up with the hair dryer just to make sure that the joints don't have any kind of sticky paint that is going to cause them damage when you try to move them. Let me show you the box, and I've already done a review of the ogre. This is another ogre size figure. Got him out of the box already. A beautiful job on that box by Nate Barch. Let me read you his bio real quick. It says, Bolthor the Tower. Giants and their offspring are a maligned and misunderstood people, especially those that hail from the harsh and unforgiving wastelands of Bjorngar. While many mistakenly think of them as indistinguishable from the unseemly creatures that populate the dark armies, in truth, these imposing folk are quite similar to their smaller human cousins. A half-giant, Bolthor the Tower, was the first of his kind to align with Atlas the Conqueror and his House of the Noble Bear. Unexpectedly, Bolthor is as warm and jovial as he is devastating with his axe. After proving himself at the Siege of Bjorngar, Bolthor is both a core member of Atlas's inner circle and a legendary hero. So there you have it, folks. This is a half giant, and despite his imposing size, he is a good guy hanging out with the House of the Noble Bear. Let me show you a comparison of him to a goblin figure. So he obviously dwarfs the Mythic Legion's goblin Snag. And let's bring in a dwarf figure so you see what he looks like next to the dwarf. I've been having fun with these guys, as you can tell. So he rides in on a Jumanji rhino. That's the dwarf figure. So the dwarf is, right up reaches about his belly button. That's a Mythic Legion's dwarf. And then this is a full-size knight, human knight. And when he's up against the half giant, he goes up about to the nipples. So you can kind of see there that Bolthor is huge, imposing, and this is the second ogre-sized figure that I've reviewed, and I just love this size. I'm having all kinds of fun with him, sort of posing him up against other massive giant figures in my collection, like Wink, and this sort of kit bash I did there with Killer Croc and a Savage Hulk. And then, of course, Bolthor right next to Kurzog, the other ogre that I've already reviewed. As you can see, these guys share a lot of parts, and that's most noticeable here in the loincloth area, although Kurzog has that sort of stylized skull in there, and Bolthor has this more decorative design. They both have those bones that fall down in front of the loincloth. Kurzog, of course, has these more savage-looking gauntlets. Bolthor just has some leather gauntlets with some silver studs. And then there's different color schemes when it comes to the harnesses. And, of course, Bolthor has the giant horns on his head. And he has an axe instead of this sort of mace, sort of ace, or mace or axe-like blunt force trauma inducing weapons. He also has these big armored feet attached to the same sort of armored legging thing. And of course, Kurzog is barefoot. As an ogre, I guess he just feels more comfortable that way. So Bolthor the Tower. I've gone through the articulation on Kurzog, so if you really want to see an articulation focused review on the ogre size figure, you should check that out. But this is, of course, no different, exact, and you can really see how tight and nice and tight those joints are, and you can hear those clicky, I think they're called dentins, at the shoulders, and they're present here under the loincloth as well. He can do the splits real easily, so sort of like the Jean-Claude Van Damme of Mythic Legions figures. He's got great range of motion there. That's how he can sit astride a Brontosaurus, no problem. I like the skin tone. I like that darker tan skin tone. I think that's a great addition. Little darker than mine. But he's a handsome-looking fellow. You can also, mix and match his accessories. The horns will come off if you want to do that for some reason. And then, or you can just rotate them around, right? I'm going to probably be mixing and matching some heads since I got an extra ogre for that purpose. And I thought it might be kind of cool to take my Kurzog figure and pop his head off. And I was looking at the Savage Hulk head sculpt there. And if I Dremel that out, I think it would be a really cool Mythic Legions compatible Hulk. So that's a little project that I might try later on. So I'm not much of a customizer, but I'm always looking to swap heads, just like I swapped the Killer Croc's head on the Savage Hulk's body, so now I need a body for the Savage Hulk's head. In addition to this one weapon that he comes with, the axe, Bolthor also comes with this longer weapon that clips together, and I think that's just to lengthen make it into a staff like weapon with the axe. So if you want to extend the axe and make it longer, then that's a cool way to do it. It's got all this neat, very metallic looking paint and wash on it, and then the coppery accents really make that pop. The sculpt on this is, Eric Treadaway sculpt, so it's unparalleled when it comes to excellence. You can see all the veins and all the details, and you can see the little tiny nipples there, and the skin looks like it's alive, and the paint doesn't let us down, and neither does the soft goods. It's kind of hard to tell that right now because they're a little soggy, but when they dry out, it'll be more fuzzy and furry, and then you'll be able to see how that really looks on there. But yeah, he just went through a nice warm bath, which all your Mythic Legions should go through, because you want to make sure that the joints are safe. So anyway, that's Bolthor the Tower. And that's all I have for now on this guy. Great job on him. A great and welcome collection addition to my Mythic Legions collection. Our first half giant. So I don't know how you get a half giant. Maybe it's an ogre and a giant together, or a human and a giant together. But a very, very cool figure and a nice addition to the Mythic Legions mythos. Yes, it is. Signing out.